Hey guys, my name's Crypto Altcoin Oracle, and I'm here to explain to you what cryptocurrency is. What is crypto? People hear about Dogecoin, and people hear about Bitcoin, and they wonder what it is. All these different type of cryptocurrencies, Solana, AVAX, there's a whole list of them out there. And honestly, there's about 4,000 currencies out there, if not more. And people are just going to get confused. They're throwing them all around. Here's a cryptocurrency. Here's a cryptocurrency. So I'm going to sit here and explain it to you in a simpler, basic, broken down version. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to tell you Bitcoin and Dogecoin, they're a currency like your dollar bill, just digital. So in order to explain cryptocurrency, I'm going to have to go over the history of money so that you get a better understanding of what cryptocurrency is. Now, if you stay to the end of my video, I will break down Bitcoin for you, and then I will explain to you that Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency and explain to you how the other cryptocurrencies came about. Now, before money, the system was trade. Remember when you were in school and you'd go to your favorite class, lunch? When you were at lunch, you didn't have everything you wanted as a kid. You didn't have very much access to different food groups. So in order to make your food better, this meal over here, you would have to go and trade. For example, let's say I have an apple and this person's got gushers. I want those gushers. So I would trade an apple for your gushers. Doesn't sound like a fair trade, but you know what? Maybe there's some healthy kids out there. So money didn't officially start until 600 BC. It was gold and silver. It would be paid to the armies to basically fight wars. Actually wasn't even a dollar. It started in 960 AD. And the reason it was created like an IOU money, and here you go. And the reason this was created was because people don't want to carry around heavy gold and silver. It was created by the Geos during the Song Dynasty. Now let's fast forward to the 1870s, where the gold standard was created. Basically, that's where your dollar bill was backed 1-to-1 with gold. And then Richard Nixon came about and decided he was going to nix, got it? Did you get it? He was going to nix the gold standard and basically make it so that money is backed by the Federal Reserve. Or in essence, your government gets to tell you that your money's worth, well, what it's worth. Now, let's skip over to the year 2008. In 2008, that's when Bitcoin was officially created. It's when cryptograph turned into Bitcoin, essentially. Basically, in the financial crisis, a lot of banks became insolvent. That's because they were not handling funds correctly. So then Bitcoin was born to solve this problem of ownership, where it's decentralized, which means nobody owns it, unlike banks that turn around and pretty much do whatever they want with your money. Now that I've explained money, I'm going to break down Bitcoin to you. But the difference between how I'm going to break it down and other people break it down is, to be honest, kind of boring. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up this 7-page document and I'm going to read it all to you. No, I'm just kidding. No, stay. Don't go anywhere. But on a serious note, every cryptocurrency has white paper that tells you what it's about and how it operates and how it functions. Bitcoin has its own 7-page white paper that explains it. Now, the reason I'm going over the Bitcoin white paper is because a lot of people don't explain Bitcoin correctly. So when they hear from one person, they hear from the other person, and it becomes word of mouth. Do you remember when you were a kid and there was the telephone game? It's basically where one kid whispers into the other kid's ear, and down the row they go, whispering a sentence from the first kid. And then by the time you get to the last kid would have to repeat what the first kid said. And 9 times out of 10, it would not ever come out correctly. Matter of fact, adults do it now and it doesn't come out correctly. So if I go straight from the source, the Bitcoin white paper, I'll be able to explain it to you a whole lot better. So Bitcoin was invented by a random person or person that went by the name Satoshi Nakamoto. Now for the Bitcoin white paper. Number 1, the intro. In the white paper, it explains that Bitcoin's purpose is to allow people to send money around the world without the need of a bank. Pretty simple, right? Number 2, transaction. It is a system that keeps record of transactions in order. For example, let's say you spend $2 on a candy bar. It records that transaction back to a computer and puts that transaction as 01. Now let's say the next day you go out and buy fuel for $50. It will record that same transaction as 02, and so forth. This way it keeps in chronological order so it doesn't get mixed up. Number 3, timestamps. Remember how we were just talking about your candy bar and how that transaction would get sent to that computer? Well, with this timestamp, basically what it does is it sends that same transaction, that one transaction, to multiple computers all over the world, making it so the transaction does not get mixed up. You know it's that transaction. Number 4, proof of work. Basically, when you bought that candy bar and it sent all those transactions of the one transaction to 5,000 computers, right? Or millions of computers, it basically takes every single one of those transactions, and the ones that line up the most is the one that goes onto the blockchain and it records it on a block. It says, hey, this is your transaction ID. This is what you did and this is what you spent. Number 5, network. So this is where each computer is a node that receives a transaction and records it. Number 6, incentive. For each transaction that a computer does, it rewards that computer with Bitcoin, basically. And the reason it does this is to incentivize people to keep updating that ledger. Now, it also explains on incentive in number 6 in the white paper. It makes it unhackable because of the fact that there are nodes, there are blocks, and basically you would have to undermine every single one of those blocks on every single one of those computers at the same exact time in order to get greedy and take more money. Basically, it's impossible. Number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10, number 11, number 12. I'm not going to go over because, frankly, it's a little bit boring and a little bit sophisticated and not real easy to break down. So basically, to sum it all up, Bitcoin is a file system that keeps records of all of your transactions without the need of a bank. It is a system that you can send money anywhere in the world 24/7. It has a limited supply of 21 million. So this makes Bitcoin deflationary instead of inflationary, kind of like your dollar bill. Now, a lot of people think inflation's a myth. Promise you it's not. Think about it. Remember when you go to your favorite fast food restaurant and you would go be able to get something for $1? There's so many items that you can get for $1. Now, you could barely go to a menu and get anything for $1. My dad used to make about $60K a year, and he was living well. Nowadays, because of the more necessities that you need, more for job requirements, this and that, and inflation, $60,000 is not getting people real by. And a lot of people are hurting because of inflation. The good thing about Bitcoin is it's deflationary. It goes up in value instead of down in value. So essentially your dollar bill is going to be worth nothing pretty soon. I mean, you have other jobs too that don't pay very much. Let's say you make $20,000 a year. I don't see how people survive on that, to be honest. It's not much, and honestly, our dollar does not stretch out very much anymore. It's basically, well, a piece of paper. So I promised you that I would explain to you why Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. And here you go. It is a cryptocurrency because of cryptograph. Basically, Bitcoin's been essentially around since the 1990s, but wasn't officially established until 2008. Now, why are there so many other coins out there that are cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin? Bitcoin's not perfect. And because it's not perfect, there are other currencies that are trying to do other things with the blockchain to be able to create new things, like an NFT. Have you ever heard of a non-fungible token? If you haven't, it's basically digital art. When you go to your art dealer and you buy art, it's essentially the same thing where you own that art except for digitally and on the internet. This way, it has a transaction ID that's attached to it, and you're able to keep that digital art and prove that you're the only one that owns it. This would be on the Ethereum network, on the Polygon network. Basically, there's a whole lot of other aspects that can be done other than just currency, like for Bitcoin. And this is why other projects have been created. Now, I'm going to need you to comment below if you have any questions. And I'm going to need you to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to, I don't really care. You can hit the like button or the dislike button, whatever you want to do. But I'm out.